following up. The amount of times I'm asked about how do I follow up, or someone's got huge amount, 3, 7, 200 proposals that are out there, and they're ringing up. Think of all the energy and effort it takes to look at the notes, get yourself ready in case they answer, look them up on LinkedIn, look up their website again, ring up to find they're on holiday, ring up to find that they've left, ring up to find that no one's answering the phone. It's a lot of energy and effort, isn't it, into the follow-up. So I do get asked a lot about, I want my team to follow up, I want my team to follow up, or how can they follow up better? So I want to sort of think about a few things here regarding follow-up. And the first thing I want us to think about is there shouldn't be so much effort on the follow-up, meaning the sale should have happened way before the follow-up. So we want to pull that sale towards us. And there is another video on how to pull the sale towards you. And so you need to watch that, because it's all about the follow-up should really be just the clarity of when it's going to happen, not is it going to happen? Okay, it should be the details, refining things, not the are you going to go ahead with me? So let's go right the way back here to before the meeting. Are you already setting yourself up as the trusted advisor? Have you connected with a good calendar invite? Does your email look really good? Have you changed the signature? Are you adding value from the very beginning? Is the email about them and not about you? Is it punching to the point? Are you saying, I'm looking forward to talking to you about, which sort of implies spray and pray, show up and throw up. Basically you're there to listen and understand, right? Not to talk at them, not to even educate them at this point. So what can you do before the meeting? We call that mindset and preparation. Are you setting up the meeting so that they already see you as the trusted advisor? They're already sold on you before the meeting. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is about follow-up, but this is about follow-up, because if you did that then when you go into the meeting, they're already sold. What's happened is you've moved the selling to before the meeting. So when you walk into the meeting, they should already be a bit more along the journey than they were originally, already sold on you. Don't assume if it's a big client that you use all the time, they're sold on you. When was the last time you actually told them about all the different services you have, showed, threw over a review, or showed them something on your website, or sent a brochure to say, oh, Aaron, look at page 12. We're now doing this. It might be of service to your team. Like, when was the last time you added value? That's what you could be thinking about in that pre-work. You want to pre-sell them, okay, before you see them. Then when you see them, how are you? Are you old school talk out, ask 6 questions, go straight in for kill, I'm there to pitch at you? Or are you really taking it that your intent is to help, to understand, to add value, to partner and collaborate, to look at their situation together and to go, yeah, there's got the solution over there. How do you feel about that? Are you going in like that? Which means if you are, you ask really good, curious, hungry questions. You're investigative. You're Sherlock Holmes. You're really out to understand what they think they need, what they actually need, their needs, wants, desires, what information they've got, what information they need to have, where they're stuck at, what they've tried before, what they haven't tried, who else they've seen, of the alternatives that are out there for them. Not that you're going to take it as a competition in the ditch. No, of course there's alternatives. You are the trusted advisor. You're above all that. You're the authority. You know all the alternatives, because that's where you position yourself. So you're able to say, I see the Jack spinning. And what do you like about what Jack put forward? And what do you not like as much? It should be an intelligent approach where you're partnering at all times. Now, during that meeting, you're pulling that follow-up into the meeting, right? That's what the follow-up should be, in the meeting. So you need to be comfortable when your client is processing information. I heard the other day some director say, I want my team to be comfortable with silences. And it's like, that's not really what it is. You want your team to be comfortable when they recognize the client's processing something. It's not so much silences, nothing's happening. It's like, no, I've just said something and the client's thinking about it, so I'll just wait. That's what you need to be able to do. As a masterful salesperson, as a masterful leader, you need to be able to understand that clients are hearing what you're saying. You're having a conversation, that's all that's going on, and you're proposing ideas and educating and guiding things that they may not have thought about before. They're going to go, yeah, you need to give them time to do that, because neurologically they're doing what they're currently doing, flicking over, make a new neural net to what they're going to be doing. You need to give them time. It's not really about silence. It's about actually reading the signals. On the phone, you need to be highly skilled because you can't see them do that, but you can feel them do that. So you'll know exactly the same on the phone. And then during that conversation, this is the clincher now what we get into. Before it's too quick to say, I'll be in touch then, I'll follow up, I'll follow up with you next week. A lot of reps are sort of this hurry at the end. I don't know why it is. It's like Maybe it's because the client says, I've only got 30 minutes, and now it's at 45 minutes. Do you know what? The client's talking, you're listening. The client said, you know what, I've only got 30 minutes because guess what? The last 10 reps that went in just got up there, showed up and throwed up. And it wasn't even relevant or meaningful, and it wasn't tailored to them. So they've said they've got 30 minutes. Doesn't mean they've got 30 minutes for you, because when you make it all about them and you're just asking questions and listening, they'll talk for longer. Of course they will. And they push their next meeting. Hold on a second, I've got another meeting. I'm just going to push that back. That's what's going to happen. So in that meeting, you're going to be comfortable shaking out and going as far as you can. Be in no hurry to get out there. You need to be there, and you're there to stay in a bubble with them. Because they might go through different solutions and different variables. They want something to shake it out with. They see you as the advisor, and that might lead to more questions that leads to more information. That might lead to more questions that leads to more information. At all times, you're just listening. You're asking questions. You're processing. You're making your notes. You're seeing how you can help them. At the end of all that, when everything's shaken out, if you can, give them a price while you're there. Give them a price while you're there. There's the odd occasion where they may think, oh, we've probably got a lot to think about there. We need to go away and sort of do a lot of work on that, in which case you'll go, oh, yes, I will. Aaron, I'll do that, when in fact you haven't got that at all. But in most cases, you'll be able to say to them, let's go through this solution now. And then the beauty of that is you're explaining the solution before you give the price. The client should be what we call at the same pace as you. At no point that you say a price, they go, oh, I had no idea it'd be that much, because by the time you've asked questions, they should be understanding sort of the value to them. Remember, your questions are also going to shake out what they value. And when they talk about issues that have gone on, you're not going to be quick to get them out of those issues, because if those issues are going to help them move and do something which is better for them, you'll let them talk about their pain points, because the more they talk about what it's costing them, if you know the best outcome is for them to go ahead with your solution, it's going to stop the pain points and get them to move on. Don't be too quick to take them out of the pain, because they might think, oh, I can come back to that any time. They've got another fire to put out. So allow them to talk about those things. If you know genuinely that when the pain's gone, the client would be happier, then let them talk about the pain. It just means as you get to the end and everything's shaken out, you can then talk through what the solution would look like and give a price. Now, assuming you are 100% confident in your price, you have 100% certainty when you give the price, you won't be hesitant. You'll say, whatever, $500,000, $6, whatever it is for you. And you're not saying, oh, it's going to cost you. I know it's a bit sharp, a bit higher than you thought, a bit expensive. That won't even be in your head. Those words won't even be in your head, because before you did the call, you'd have been up to the eyeballs on case studies and happy clients, knowing with certainty and congruent, oh my goodness, we can help more people. Because when you come into the meeting like that, you come in with confidence and certainty, and the client's buying confidence and certainty. So during that, you talk them through, you give the price, you wait, they're going to process it, maybe some more questions, go back and forth, that's all fine. And then you'll say this, what's going to happen at your end? Aaron, what's going to happen at your end now? And Aaron's going to go, oh, I'm going to get this to so-and-so, and has to go to the board, and that might lead to more questions that go into more things. Or you might go, great, you might listen, and you go, you now need to take control of what you need to happen. If you think, God, I could really do with a little touch point so I can lock back in with Aaron and go through 2 or 3 pointers, then you say, typically what happens now is that word typically means, Aaron, I do this all the time. I'm doing this day in and day out. I'm the expert here. So typically Aaron, what happens now is I'll go back and do these notes. I've got a few ideas that we'll throw past other people. Let's touch base this afternoon between 4 and 5 with some clarity on some areas. And then let's get together tomorrow morning around 10 where I'll walk you through some ideas. At no point are you saying, do you mind? Is that okay? Are you okay to jump on a Zoom or anything? You're not subservient about this. You're not asking permission about this. You are saying, typically, this is how you work, because you know you might need that touch point. Maybe your meeting's in the afternoon, in which case you would say, typically what happens now, Aaron, is I'll go through these notes. I've got some great ideas and some solutions. Other bits I might be able to just bring into play here. Let's touch base tomorrow morning. How is your morning looking? So we can just touch base for a little bit, just so I can bring some clarity to some things. They might say, yeah, call me between 11 and 12. You go, great, I'll call then. And again, when you call, you go, great, I've got a couple of questions. Again, you might flick over a link. Say, jump on a link. You're not asking permission to send a link. You're not saying, do you mind? Is it okay? You're just flicking a link. You'll make it blasé. You're making it really easy for them to jump on a link. And the idea is what? That you are going through some questions they may have had, just in case you couldn't close it at the time, which you are trying to do. If it feels right, you're not going to push it to a follow-up, right? You want to make sure that everyone can go as far as they can in that meeting. But this is assuming it can't. You're now picking up some touch points afterwards. You then do it that afternoon or the next morning. Then you go through the ideas. Then you go, great, Aaron, what happens now? Aaron goes, I now take to the board. Did I go? Typically what happens is I'll reach out after that. So if the board is Friday? How about I call Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock? And Aaron says, that's a good idea. And it is in the diary. You should not have all these follow-ups out there that have no plan of action. You should be completely aware of the pace and be with them. So you say to Aaron, great, I'll call Friday afternoon. How are you looking between 3 and 5? Great, I'll flick over a link now so we can jump on then and shake out what happened there. It'd be a pleasure to do business with you. I'm looking forward to bringing value. And then what do? You go back on LinkedIn. You see how you can be of value. You look at those nodes. What can you do to Aaron and the other decision makers where you can add value between whatever day it is and Friday? You've got all this time rather than sit there. What can we do? I don't know what's going to happen. I hope we get it. You can do things. You can add value the whole time. So they're my tips on follow-up. It's quite a long thing, isn't it? So bring the follow-up all the way forward and then make sure at the end of the meeting you don't push it to a follow-up unless it's needed. You pull the sale towards you so everything can happen and then use those words. What happens now for you? What's your next steps? And then typically what happens now is, while we're on it though, one quick thing on follow-up. I read a report 4 years ago, Harvard report, on the amount of times it takes to follow up to get a sale. The average rep calls once. Really good reps call 3 times. Directors need 12 follow-ups for a sale to go ahead. That means the rep that has the most resilience has already put in 99% of the work. Let's face it, all that work to get the meet in the first place and to do all that work in the proposal. And other reps just step back because they think, oh, I'm being, annoying now. The mindset of the rep that doesn't think they're being annoying, that they think they're adding value, they're the ones going to continue for 12 times and get that client across the line. Good luck.